Let's get it. Oh. I always forget to close it out, right? Way to go.
In Sidney Prescott's room next to her desk, there's a poster for Swamp Ophelia, an album by the Indigo Girls, a folk rock band from the 1980s. As you can see on this poster, the band is a two-piece. The latest single from that album at the time that Scream came out was also called The Power of Two. This is symbolic because of the twist in Scream, the fact that there are two killers. The power of two is the reason that they were able to trick police and clear Billy's name as
a lot of people think Stu was gay for Billy. Do you think?
Like in the show, in the movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember it like that.
Suspects. With this in mind, we can go back and find many more clues about Scream's Double Trouble antagonist. To learn the connection between Stu Macher's room and the video rental store, stick around to the end of this video. I think a lot of people overlook what a satire actually is. So let's take it back to the basic definition. Satire is the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize something. By that definition, satire has always been around, long before Scream and long before movies. Even the slasher genre had already come out with films like Student Bodies or Evil Dead 2. So let's just drop the charade that Scream is some kind of first-of-its-kind movie. But one of the things that makes Scream loved by many is its ability to satirize without turning to comedy, which led to it being a
I was going to tell you something, actually. You know, a lot of people say Stu was dead at the end of Scream, but he was going to come back for Scream 3. He was going to be, like, the secret killer at the end.
The dude that played this?
Yeah, Stu. The one that got his head smashed with TV.
What's it funny?
What? You can't hear it, huh?
You can, but I feel like the desktop needs to be turned down. Audio needs to be turned down.
Turned down?
It's like the video is still loud, but...
So you said the video is too loud?
Yeah. You go up some. That needs to go down. Probably like 60. It's 50. That's good. It'll be 6. That's what it'll say.
I don't really like to look at it perfectly.
It's gotta be fair.
Legitimate force in the genre that it was aiming to expose. In fact, Scream was so successful and so many tried to imitate it that its acute self-awareness became the norm for a while. Audiences had seen this happen in television a few years earlier with The Simpsons, the family sitcom which attacked the positive family values of other sitcoms in the era at the time.
Wow, it must be expensive to produce all these cartoons.
Well, we cut corners. Sometimes to save money, our animators will reuse the same backgrounds over and over and over again.
As a result, everybody wanted to make a show with that cutting-edge social commentary like The Simpsons. But The Simpsons was a comedy that made fun of the TV families of the 80s, then surpassed them and became
you think the people on The Simpsons for real time travel?
I don't know. That's a good conversation because how do they keep getting it right?
Oh, that's a good idea. You want to do that first year? Like, no. Like, maybe tonight. After I get back from dinner.
TV family of the 90s. Scream was able to follow this blueprint, but for horror movies. You can make the argument that Scream is funny, but it's a different kind of funny. It's pretty clear that the intention is not to have you, as they put it in the 90s, ROFL. But that isn't to say that screenwriter Kevin Williamson and director Wes Craven don't understand the formula of setup and punchline. They actually transform that concept and use it for some scares in the movie instead of laughs. For example, there are a number of scenes that end with a big push into a spot in the background where Ghostface can be seen lurking. We see this outside of Sid's house and at the grocery store. So we start to associate that particular camera movement with the appearance of outside of Sid's house with a big push into a spot in the background where Ghostface can be seen lurking. We see this outside of Sid's house and at the grocery store. So we start to associate that particular camera movement with the appearance of our antagonist. When Tatum is getting beers from the garage, we see the camera brush past her and focus on the door. It starts to elevate her heart rate, but then nothing happens. That's such a clever way to build suspense. Then we see the door close, but it's just the cat, so we're no longer on edge, making it all the more effective when Ghostface does appear in front of the closed door. There are other techniques like this used to throw off the audience, and of course some clever Easter eggs from Wes Craven. So let's get into the things you missed. Even the title, Scream, feels like it's poking fun at some of the so simple it could be about anything titles of Alfred Hitchcock's.
You know what Scream's name was going to be before it was Scream?
What?
Scary Movie.
Is that why they made the Scary Movie?
Mm-hmm.
Horror movies like Blackmail, Murder, Sabotage, Rope, and of course, Psycho. The beginning of Scream pulls out a trick that was used in Psycho. Psycho came out in 1960, and its biggest star was its female lead, Janet Leigh, who played Marion Crane. She is prominently featured on the poster, so audiences were totally shocked when they killed her off very early on in the movie. Scream's biggest star is Drew Barrymore, who is similarly the face of the marketing campaign, so many people were shocked to see her brutally disemboweled in the opening scene. There's kind of a lineage that exists connecting the most prominent slasher movie of each generation. When I covered Halloween here on Things You Missed, I spent a lot of time talking about how it was inspired by Psycho. Now, the torch is being passed down yet again to Scream. We can see this in the name Loomis. Psycho had Samuel Loomis, Halloween had Dr. Sam Loomis, and Scream had Billy Loomis, who, after revealing he's one of the killers, drops a quote from Psycho.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Billy is also most likely the one on the phone at the beginning who asked Casey to guess his favorite horror movie.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I like that movie. It was scary.
Well, the first one was, but the rest sucked.
I was about to get up here and say that this was a joke by director Wes Craven, who also directed the first Nightmare on Elm Street, but not the 5 sequels that would follow. But apparently that was in the script before it was ever decided that Craven would be the director.
I kind of wanted to take that out, you know. I did not write that line.
That answers my other question about that line. Wes returned to the franchise to direct Wes Craven's New Nightmare. In case you didn't know who the director of Wes Craven's New Nightmare was, it was Wes Craven, which was the most recent Freddy Krueger movie at the time that Scream was made. It just seems strange that he would diss himself like that. Apparently the line later on where Tatum mixes him up with Halloween director John Carpenter,
"Don't go there, son. You're starting to sound like some Wes Carpenter flick or something,"
was also in the script before Craven's involvement. But it kind of works better now, seeing as how Scream uses Halloween as a template for the horror movie tropes that it satirizes. After a few more aggressive anonymous calls, Casey immediately picks up the phone and yells,
Listen, asshole!
What if that had been someone else calling just then? That would have been very rude, Casey. After breaking into the house, we see Ghostface looking around for her. My question is, why doesn't he just try calling the phone again and going towards the sound of the ringtone? It seems logical that she would keep the phone on her to try to get help, so she might have forgotten to silence it. After Ghostface catches up with her, there are a couple of Easter eggs that play out on the Beckers' side.
Oh, they watched Halloween and
Oh, they did?
but they were allowed to do that. Yeah, it's a party. House party.
Hey, bro. Missed it.
As I mentioned, Halloween is the main template that Scream uses for its satire. It's the movie that Casey's planning to watch in the opening, and it's the movie that crushes Stu's head in the finale. There's another Halloween connection after Casey manages to get outside and see her parents going back into the house. Despite the title of this movie, she is unable to find her Scream and get her parents' attention. In Halloween 2, we see the same phenomenon take place as Laurie Strode tries to yell for help outside of the Haddonfield Hospital. Then there's yet another Halloween reference just moments later.
Get the car. Drive down to the Mackenzies. Call the police.
When Laurie and the kids are targeted by Michael Myers, she gives them a similar order.
I want you to go down the street to the Mackenzies' house. I want you to tell them to call the police.
I'm sure there will be a lot of people that already know about that Easter egg, and honestly, quite a few of the eggs in this movie are pretty common knowledge because of the nature of Scream. I mean, it's basically a movie that's loaded with references and nods, so it's going to attract people who already know about that stuff. On Things You Missed, I try to stick to things that you might have missed. That's why it's called that, if you didn't know. However, if I leave the ones out that everybody knows, then there's going to be people in the comments just complaining that I missed stuff. So let's just go through the ones that I think are more obvious real quick and get them out of the way. Billy climbs through Sydney's window and startles her, just like Glenn did to Nancy in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Sheriff Burke is played by the actor who plays the police officer in Nightmare on Elm Street. Tatum's number 10 crop top is very similar to a shirt worn by Glenn in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Principal Himbry has the following conversation with the janitor.
Shorts like that, it's weird.
Damn little shits. What'd you call me?
I mean, you gotta think that was back in
Hey, it's Freddy.
That's director Wes Craven cameoing as Fred, which is short for Freddy, because he's dressed up like Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Frederick! Freddy!
When Ghostface pins down Sydney, he cocks his head just like Michael Myers, and the movie makes a point to show that scene during Stu's party. Sydney refers to the town of Woodsboro under curfew as the town that dreaded sundown, and Randy, who yells at the TV to warn Jamie Lee Curtis about the threat behind her, also has a threat behind him.
Jim, look behind you.
You're really not.
Look behind you.
The actor that plays Randy is named Jamie, and he's being watched in a similar manner by Kenny, the news camera guy. And speaking of people named Jamie, Sydney at one point escapes from the attic onto the roof like Jamie from Halloween 4. I think those are all the more well-known Easter eggs, so let's get into the fun stuff, the less obvious ones. When Billy sneaks into Sid's room, he tells her he was watching The Exorcist on TV, with all the good parts cut out, and it makes him think of their relationship. From this point, they continue to reference back to this idea that their relationship is like a movie. After Sid's close call with Ghostface, a reporter asks her,
So how does it feel to be almost brutally
butchered.
Leave her alone.
People want to know they have a right to know.
And this is a cameo by Linda Blair. She played Regan in The Exorcist 23 years ago. If you're listening closely during the Sidney and Billy scene, you'll notice that there's a song playing in the background. It's an acoustic cover of Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. A song that I like, but I'm starting to get a little tired of hearing in movies and TV. But I'll save that rant for a future video, because here there might be a good reason for it. It's the same song that Laurie Strode and Annie Brackett listened to in the car in Halloween. And as I've said many times already, Halloween is the template that Scream builds off of. There could also be a second meaning here. The Ghostface costume is essentially a depiction of a Grim Reaper. The name of the costume itself in universe is Father Death. The next day, the school is buzzing with rumors and news crews trying to capitalize on the story. We first see one of our main characters, Gale Weathers.
I don't think he's gonna say it, but they had no idea what kind of mask, like, what they wanted Ghostface to look like. So whenever they started filming, when they found the house, I think it was the house they were using, they found that mask. But then they tracked it down and found the guy that made it, and he told them that they could use it, but then he was like, send $100 and put my business in the credits. But then the high school, there was a story with the high school too. They had a high school lined out to film at, and they was getting ready to start filming, and then they dropped it because they thought the violence wouldn't be a good, like,
look for the school.
Yeah, a look for the school.
Yeah.
So they got mad, and in the credits it says no thanks whatsoever to, and then shouted the whole school community.
In the background of an establishing shot. Even though we don't end up going towards her here, the neon green outfit in a sea of dull wardrobe colors draws the eye and lets us know that she's important. It's like in a video game where it'll only let you target characters that you can actually talk to. That's good filmmaking. It's also kind of a preview of how the movie ends, but Gale has a bloody lip and a red dress. During school that day, each student is called into the office for interrogation. There's a chart on the wall that details which teachers are in which classrooms each period. Most of the teachers' names are crew reference Easter eggs. Almost all of these people refer to people in the art department who would have been responsible for putting these decorations on set. They include carpenter Art Williams, local lead person Kenny Montante, additional set decorator Deborah Eckerd, lead man Richard Lambert, set dresser Josh Elliott, art department coordinator Charlene Barr, art director David Lubin, driver Ben Davis, and set decorator Michelle Pulick, probably a very unfortunate name to have grown up with. We actually see Michelle put her name into the movie a couple of times. In the hallway, there's a poster advertising Michelle Palak for president, a deliberate misspelling of her name. In the bathroom, there's some graffiti that says Michelle plus Bob forever, using the same unconventional spelling as the set decorator. Because of her situation with her mom being killed a year prior, the media attention is very familiar for Sid.
You know, the police and reporters and everything, it's like deja vu all over again.
That's a redundant statement. That would be like saying I went on a side tangent, or if I commented on Scream's acute self-awareness. One of the things that Scream does to try to stay interesting is play with our expectations. Pay attention to the music sting that happens when Sidney opens the closet door. Using typical horror movie logic, the audience can expect that this means a scare is about to happen. It's the perfect setup for the classic refrigerator door scare, but when she closes it, nobody is there. This also establishes the idea that the closet should be empty, making it even better when Ghostface busts out of it 5 minutes later.
With the murders and all, it's like right out of a horror movie or something.
We see more of that aforementioned self-awareness as Sidney mocks horror movies, saying that they're all the same.
Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
Only for her to do just that when she can't figure out how to unlock the front door. I always love this next part. She calls the police on her PC, connects to someone seconds later, and the cops are at the door in 46 seconds. Take notes, Uber Eats. So Sidney is already saved by the time Tatum shows up in her red VW Beetle. I don't know if this is 100% an intentional reference, but since it's Scream, I'll just assume that it is. This is the car that Jack Torrance drives in the novel version of The Shining. It appears in Stanley Kubrick's film adaptation as well as the car that's been crushed by an overturned truck. Kubrick's way of saying, screw you, King, I'm not gonna follow the book. Of course, there is a more obvious Stephen King reference later on.
Corn syrup. Same stuff they use for pig's blood in Carrie.
Tatum also goes with to the police station where they get some info from Sidney. Her brother Dewey tries to get her to respect him while he's in uniform in front of his superior officer.
He's my superior.
Janitor's your superior.
Which is true on the film set, since Wes Craven, the director, plays the janitor. Technically, he's David Arquette's boss. Billy's name is cleared when Stu calls Sidney again using the Ghostface voice while Billy is still in custody. Sheriff Burke is no L. I don't even know if he's on the same level as Randy, to be honest.
He's got killer printed all over his forehead.
Which is exactly where Sidney shoots him at the end of the movie. Randy is portrayed as the biggest horror buff in the story. He works at the video store and knows all of the rules about horror movies. We see these rules referenced time and time again by the killer on the phone, and that leads us to see Randy as a prime suspect.
I'm the first to admit it. If this were a scary movie, I'd be the prime suspect.
However, there may be someone who is an equally big horror buff, and that is Stu Macher. In fact, there are a couple of clues that link him to the video store just as much as Randy. The store has two posters on display. The one on the left is a poster for the 1993 film Mother's Boy, starring Jamie Lee Curtis. Stu is a huge fan of Jamie Lee. All the videos he rents for his party have her in them.
Terror Train, Prom Night. How come Jamie Lee Curtis is in all of these movies?
She's the Scream Queen. With a set of lungs like that, she should be.
On the right is a poster for the band Green Jelly. This same poster can be seen when Sidney runs into Stu's room to escape Ghostface. So I think it just serves as a link to show us that Stu probably spends more time than we'd expect at the video store. At this point in the movie, there are a few innuendos as well. Tatum tells Sidney that her intimacy issues will thaw out with time as she removes a case of popsicles from the freezer. This basically tells us that Sidney's getting ready to lose her virginity. Then there's this meme-worthy moment. Our eyes are drawn to a certain part of a frame, which of course is Tatum's lungs. Then our eyes are drawn to another part of the frame. This spiral pattern just kind of draws you in. Number one, because her death occurs when she gets stuck in the pet door in the garage, and she's unable to get out because her tits and cheeks are too big. Also, the song playing when she enters the garage is Drop Dead Gorgeous by Republica. Scream was doing Death Omen songs 4 years before Final Destination came out. That night, Sidney does end up giving up the V-card to Billy, and Ghostface breaks in and appears to kill him. But obviously we know it was just corn syrup. The way Stu cleans off the knife is very interesting to me. The motion almost kind of resembles taking off a condom. And for Sidney, it comes immediately as a post-sex act. And Stu later admits that he did have a thing for Sidney, which she responds to by pushing the TV onto him and saying,
"In your dreams."
It's kind of a karma moment, because Stu was the one to laugh in Randy's face when he asked that he might have a chance with Sidney. After everything we've been through, it's only fitting that the action ends with one last meta horror trope.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last scare.
I didn't like that shit.
Not in my movie.
What do you mean, not in my movie? It literally just happened. Before we can end this video, there is one more thing I want to talk about. The big surprise in Scream that, again, like the camera work and writing choices that I brought up in this video, uses our horror genre expectations against us, is the fact that there are two killers instead of the usual one that we get in most slasher movies. The clues were there all along. In the Casey Becker scene, one Ghostface breaks into the house and runs straight to the front door. We don't know why at the time, but it was to let his accomplice inside. You can actually spot that the door is now open when Casey's parents get home. At the fountain, Stu explains to Sidney how you got someone, and Billy makes eye contact with him and says,
Hey, it's called tact, you brag.
They ain't gonna get me now that I know it's coming.
Okay.
We should just go back to what we were doing.
Are you scared, buddy?
Nah. I just say if it's our title, this is not.
I'll update the title. Here we go.
We should just start putting his title Random Stream.
The United States
So we can
Postal
do random
Service.
things.
Built for how you business.
Shut up, bro.
Friends, you're the ones who
Let's not
made
stream for
Delaney
very long,
Academy
though.
a real
Let's
success.
keep it like
It was
short,
our
like
life.
30 minutes.
And to our kids.
We're already almost there.
Now I get
Okay,
to make
well,
up
we'll
for
watch
that
this
lost
video
time.
and then end it.
Elements of the horror genre. They serve the making you elevate an already
Man,
unsettling
they talk
movie
through
to
it.
become legitimately terrifying.
Are you even listening to me?
Oh, here we go.
Okay, pull the car over. Pull the car over? You want to see it? All right, 2 seconds, okay? Okay. What is it? Just pull it over. Okay. I'll show you. All right.
Dude, what, bro? What's he looking so excited to see?
What are you doing?
I thought you said you'd be expecting it, so.
Bro, like, what even is this? Zombies? What are that? Oh, or is this that Alaska vampire movie? where it's in Alaska and they had 30 days a night, and people turn into vampires during that time. That is that movie. Yes, that is that movie. That's actually a really good movie. Yeah, that's good, dude. I don't think it's. It might be.
You gotta be ready.
Let's go behind him. That wasn't that scary. At all.
Oh my god.
Does that drag me to hell?
I don't know. But that's what is this?
Freaks, I guess. Making him watch it all, then killing him, huh? Yeah.
Hello?
I've just had a nightmare.
Not to worry, I've just the thing.
Another nightmare on top of a nightmare.
Halloween 2.
Oh.
Right here.
Who is it? Who is it?
Peach Man. Ready.
That was good.
It was 1981.
That was pretty weak, too. Yeah, I feel like this will be even weaker.
Is that Slither?
What is Slither?
Never seen Slither? Yeah, Slither. You've never seen Slither?
Is that everybody's dog?
Everybody's.
This is like a whole neighborhood's dog? Everybody's dog?
You've never seen Slither?
No, what's it about?
Dude, it's weird.
Okay, this might make me jump. It's always the stuff with guns and the jungles that make me jump. There's something right there. Shoot it!
That wasn't a
tiger. Yeah, it was.
Mr.
I didn't know it was
Helms,
a
I
tiger.
think we're back in business.
We're going to pull together and we're going to find a way to get out of here.
Wait.
First, we're going to seal off this.
Oh, that's that shark movie.
I knew it. Oh god.
It's just, it's like the most fake CGI shark.
I don't care.
There is a moment.
Okay, that's more scary. In space. Ugh. Yeah, it went quiet. There's a moment. It's quiet. God. And he's gone forever, not ever come back. You still thinking about the sharks?
Yeah.
Space is way scarier. Wait, how's there flames?
That just looks scary.
Is that her?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why they made that game Alien Isolation already. They're in a cave.
Probably the Descent or something. I'm scared now. What is even going on here? And go ahead, stick your face really close. That was good, wasn't it? Oh, damn.
That got you.
That one got me. I thought it was going to be the TV. That's funny.
See, Joe fail.
Yes.
Oh, that's perverted.
Now,
I was going
lights out.
What did the monster do to her?
I don't know.
I can still hear that voice.
Sure.
26 minutes.
You alright?
Harry.
What are you doing, buddy?
What are you doing on the floor?
Spider-Man, really?
What's gonna be so scary about this?
Last night I was...
Oh.
Maybe, I guess.
When I seen that coming, I knew it was good. He didn't see that coming.
Definitely not. He done knocked himself out. That one was bad. That was good. Somebody in the phone. It's the Invisible Man.
If you want to waste your life beating the shit out of Alex every time you see him, then you can just drop fucking dead.
They're not gonna kill us. You know why? Why? Because we're just... Hold on!
Come back a long time every time. They got me.
You bitch.
Watch your mouth.
Sam.
Is you a bitch?
And you can suck. Yeah, I dare you to say. Man, say it like 5 times. They don't like loud and clear. There's you. Read it. Let's see if the algorithm picked it good.
Play to
or the algorithm, or whatever you call it.
Here,
Move
before
to
we wrap it up,
Dominoes.
you for no never. Trailer.
I might like it if it's really messed up. Oh wow, like really messed up.
Not messed up. It's a way to read that.
Did someone doodle on my face?
Jelly roll.
Are these tattoos?
Are these tattoos?
You ready? This is a weird movie. I used to have this movie on DVD.
Throughout the years, these classic horror films had one thing in common.
We're all
sissies.
From Universal Pictures comes a film so shocking.
We've got a real problem here.
So disgusting.
Don't let him in your mouth!
It will change.
Don't let them in your mouth.
That's how they possess.
They're doing things to people,
Not
turning them into some kind of monsters.
How's everybody's evening? Good? Good.
Something's wrong with me.
Slither.
Have you ever seen anything like
And they're all in her?
Me neither.
Not all of them.
I watch Animal Planet all the time.
Overfed.
Huh?
He overfed her.
Who's he?
The main guy.
Overfed or what?